Now, I know you all have this really nice dessert, but you can always take candy with you and have it for a snack later. So if you ask questions or share ideas with me, I will reward you. Okay, so we're going to talk about transforming your thinking today. And why transformation? So my agency is 20 years old. We're very excited about that. And really there are three things we do. We build brands, we improve the health of people and communities by working with brands that share our values, and we teach creativity and innovation. And a lot of times people will come up to me and they'll say, oh Martha, you all are so creative. I wish I could be a fly on the wall in your office. I wish I could be more creative like you. And I say, well, you can be. It's just like anything else. You have to practice and work at it, but we've all got that creativity inside of us. But we created Transformation in a Box to help people do that, because there's only so much of us to go around, to go meet with people, to consult with them, have conferences. So by creating a product that people can buy, they can kind of DIY, and we can scale this on a much bigger level than I can just do person to person. So what is it? We know that going solo is hard when you're trying to come up with new ideas, and you all are already creative people. I mean, you're communicators, you're doing great things already, but you know sometimes you get stuck. And we also know that sometimes you're trying to do this by yourself, and that can be really hard. So we have this quarterly box, kind of like Stitch Fix or Blue Apron, but this is for innovation. And it's your coach in a box. So it's multi-sensory. There's always a playlist, something to eat or drink, tactile objects, there's a book to read. There are specially curated items that we pick out and a workbook that we've created. And they do two things. One, they help you just be a better brainstormer, and the other thing is there are things to help you focus on specific challenges that you might be working on in your organization. Maybe it's employee engagement, maybe it's a customer service thing, maybe it's a 20th anniversary celebration. Those kinds of things, you can work on those and will help you. It's timed, so all the different exercises say, this one's gonna take 30 minutes, this one's gonna take an hour. So you can put them on your calendar. Because we all know, like New Year's resolutions, we're going to exercise and then we sort of forget. We wanna be more creative, but then we get busy like putting out fires. So if we put these things on our calendar, then that helps us make sure that we're really doing them. And you can do this for yourself, or you can get boxes for everybody in your department and maybe have your own retreat, kind of a DIY retreat. So that's why we created this, and we're getting really great feedback and people are discovering some big things. So today, I'm going to take you through some examples of some of the exercises that we do in our Transformation in a Box, and I think that this will help you be able to go back to your organizations and have some new tools to brainstorm and come up with new ideas. So we always have some rules of thumb when we're starting out. I point my finger here. Rules of thumb. First off, you need to change things up. If you're always doing things the way you normally do them, you're kind of in a rut. So today, you've got colored pencils on your tables, and when we do exercises, use those colored pencils instead of the pen that you usually write with. I say, sometimes eat dessert first, or brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, or listen to some different kinds of music. But change things up, because when you disrupt your brain with some new stimuli, you're going to discover some new things. All right, you have to practice. Just like you're practicing yoga or learning a language or anything else, if you practice, it gets easier. Number 3 is dare to be stupid. And I don't know why I put this as number 3, because it probably ought to be number 1. Dare to be stupid. Sometimes you just have to put that crazy idea out there. And once you get it out there, it's really not stupid. Or maybe it's stupid, but it helps you think of the next idea that really is brilliant. So you've got to put it out there. Work fast, and we're going to do some fast work today. Sometimes if we deliberate too much when we're trying to brainstorm, we really slow ourselves down and we sort of lose momentum. So work fast, because you can always go back and edit and evaluate later, but just get it out there. And there's strength in numbers. And I mean this in 2 ways. The first way is trying to do brainstorming or problem solving by yourself can be hard, but if you get more people around the table with you, it makes it easier, right? Especially if they're, good teammates. But also, together you come up with more ideas. And the more ideas you have, the better. I was listening to a podcast this morning from The Hidden Brain. I don't know if anybody listens to that. But they were talking about Thomas Edison and how he had all these ideas. Well, I think we only know him for like one. And some of his ideas were really bad. But the fact that he kept putting them out there helped him get to some really groundbreaking things. And you need to cross-pollinate. So things that you learn or do in your daily life or have done, you can take that and apply it somewhere else. I have a lot of retail experience in my past, both on the ad agency side and actually working in retail. I can take that and apply that to some of our bank clients, put a little spin on that, and it's totally different and it's totally great. What can you learn from your nonprofit that might work in economic development? You know, how can you cross different platforms to create something new just because you're connecting dots in different ways? Picasso said every child's an artist. The challenge is to remain an artist when you grow up. If you ask a bunch of kindergartners, how many of you are an artist? They all raise their hand. They're so excited everybody's an artist. And by the time they're in 5th grade, you ask that question, a few raise their hand. You know, we get paranoid and we let other people sort of squelch our creativity. But you know, if you can stay with it and believe in that kernel of creativity in yourself, you can really grow it. So basically, innovation is creative problem solving. That's what we all do, and that's what we want to do better. So today, we're going to do some exercises that help you build that muscle. So, a few ground rules whenever you're brainstorming with other people, and I'm going to have you do some things with each other today. First off, no criticism. You cannot say, that's a bad idea, we've done that before, it didn't work. Can't say it. You gotta have mutual respect. Now, of course we all respect each other. Sometimes though, in our offices, we might sit down and we're brainstorming with people from different departments. You can't just assume that just because that guy's from accounting, he's not creative. Because he probably is, we just have to draw it out. So you've gotta respect everybody around the table so that we can have this really good environment for brainstorming. Don't self-edit. Let it out. So sometimes you'll start to say something and then you go, oh no, that's not good enough. You have this conversation in your head. Oh no, that's not good enough. Don't do that. It's really important to go ahead and put it out there because then that's when the chance there is for you to make something better. Never kill someone else's idea. This is bad. Don't ever say, no, that's a dumb idea, or that'll never work. Because that immediately dampens the energy of the whole group. And you don't want that. You want to keep everybody excited and contributing. And you can pelt naysayers with paper wads. So if somebody's being a stinker, just wad up a piece of paper and throw it out. Yes. Okay, the virtual no kills more ideas than anything else. That's Doug Hall from Eureka Ranch, and I don't know if you all follow him on social media. He's a really great innovator. That's that thing inside your head where you start to say it and you go, no, it's not good enough. Don't self-edit, just put it out there because that's where some of your best ideas can come from. All right, so we're gonna do a little warm-up. Everybody get a piece of paper in front of you. There's some half sheets of paper on the table if you don't have your own paper. So grab one of those. Grab a colored pencil if you like. If you really want to be brave, write with your non-dominant hand. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yeah. It made me think of you.
Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds by yourself to come up with as many ideas, as many uses as you can for a fork. Go. Okay, stop. 30 seconds is up. It goes fast. Okay, who had 10 ideas?
Gee, I can't write that fast.
Did anybody have 9 ideas? 8? 7?
I had 7.
All right.
Well, I had 27 ideas. I just couldn't write them all down.
Stephanie, do you want to share your ideas?
Oh, sure. I put eating as a hairbrush, as a toothpick, a hair curler to stir, like use the back of it to stir your tea, to butter, because I've used a fork to butter bread before, and as a can opener, because I have fake nails, so I use it to open my dog's canned food every day.
Okay. All right. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to do this again, but this time we're going to work with a partner. So everybody just work with one person at your table. You don't get to use a fork this time, though. We're going to have a new item. Okay, so with a partner, oops, we shared. You have 30 seconds for a sock. Go.
For a sock? Okay. I hold a puppet. Has, for your feet. I mean, the normal use. Oh. You can use just strained cheese, yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
Okay, time's up. Okay. Okay, everybody.
I looked at our last one's
Was
murder weapon.
it? Did we do any better this time? Did we get more than 7? Okay. Who had?
8.
You had 8. All
We
right.
had 8.
Give us candy.
All right. Do you want to read your
First love
answers?
language is like 100%.
Okay, you could use a sock for warmth on your feet, sliding across the floor, a stocking at Christmas, hand warmers, a duster, a general rag, for a pocket, and a bra stuffer.
Please don't do that.
We're sharing ideas for my candy.
Who else wants to share their ideas?
I think
Do
Jody
it.
wants to
Jody
share
wants to
hers.
share hers.
Okay.
All 8 of them?
Just the last one.
Just the last one.
Well, if you put a brick inside of a sock, you can probably murder somebody with it.
All right.
Murder weapon.
And there would be probably no fingerprints on the sock, right?
Right?
Okay. Anybody else have something really creative they'd like to share? Yes.
A golf club cover.
Oh.
Yeah.
If it even has a murder weapon, you could shove it in someone's mouth and suffocate him. Muzzle.
Dog toy. Okay, so you all get the idea that when you were brainstorming with a partner, it was a little bit easier. You had more ideas. It was probably harder to get them written down because you were both just talking and coming up with good stuff together. So I think that's part of the point of why you have better results when you have numbers. Okay, so why do we warm up? I think it's really helpful to have some warm-up exercises when you sit down to brainstorm with your colleagues. Because if you just sit down and say, okay, everybody, we're going to brainstorm on our 20th anniversary celebration right now, it's kind of hard to just jump right in. But if you've got a little warm-up, it's just like you're going to run a 5K, not a slack half K, part K. So you stretch and you kind of get limbered up a little bit, and then when you go, you have better performance, right? Okay, so that's a warm-up that you could do with your friends, with your colleagues sitting around the table. I'm going to give you another one that we do sometimes. I like to just pull pictures out of magazines. This is from a fashion magazine. There's always wacky pictures in fashion magazines. So we'll get these out and put them up on the board and say, okay, let's brainstorm on what we think might be happening in this picture. Okay? So you notice here, these women are mostly barefoot. They're all dressed in white. They're all skinny. They're about the same age. They're all kind of huddled together. So here's what we brainstormed. We said they're the Stepford wives. They're getting ready for pedicures, comparing their spray tans, auditioning for The Bachelor, getting ready to try on shoes, escapees from Mr. Clean, watching their daughter's ballet lessons, dreaming of lunch, getting baptized, runaway brides, lazy nannies, waiting for their Botox treatments. Okay? So it's kind of fun to say what's happening in this picture. Everybody brainstorms a little bit, and kind of has some fun with it, and that really helps you get limbered up for the work ahead. So I'm going to give you one that you can do with the people next to you. Okay, so just with the person beside you, what's the story? What might be happening in this picture? I'll give you 30 seconds.
It looks like the inside of a private jet. It looks like kind of like a raging party happens. Are you gonna say that out loud? Oh yeah. Oh, there's a rager. There's a serious rager. Oh yeah, they're like getting it on. Look, there's men's clothes and women's like pants. No, I like they're on a private jet and there's all sorts of swanky business going. Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
time's
that's
up. Okay, time's up. Who wants to share some ideas about what might be happening in this picture?
Please, Lindsay.
Skinny dipping. Yeah. That's a good one. Black Friday shopping. Okay.
We said it looked like there was a baby being made in that back seat.
Okay, some babies were being made in that back
Vegas
seat.
limo
Okay.
party.
What?
I think it's a Vegas limo party. There's Elvis's pants.
A Vegas limo.
Ah.
Awesome. That's
Better
very
for the win.
creative. What else?
On the way to happy hour.
On the way to happy hour.
It looks like the back of my car right now.
Anybody else?
It looks like Megan's just going to work.
Vegas going to work.
I'll leave that for him.
From Miami,
It looks like a wedding party.
Collecting items for a garage sale. Okay. Looks like a wedding. Somebody said a wedding.
Yeah.
Wedding party?
I said they spent so much on their designer clothes except that they're living in their car.
Somebody's living in their car. Somebody said
It's a fancy
skinny
car.
dipping. I wondered if the Invisible Man was around. So you can see that it can be fun to just pull out these things and sort of start brainstorming with each other and how that kind of limbers up your mind for the next exercises. So now, we shared. Now we're going to say, how do we put this into action? This is all fun and everything, but how do we apply this to something that we are working on in our daily lives? So ahead of time, I worked with Stephanie and Jody and asked what might be some things that you all might want to work on in true life. And so we came up with a sample assignment of some appreciation ideas. And that could be customer appreciation, donor appreciation, employee appreciation, something like that. So that's what we're all going to work on today, so we can think about now, how are we taking what we're working on further. So at your table, I would like for you to each decide what kind of appreciation we're working on. Is it customer, vendor, donor, employee, whatever. So do that real quickly.
We could do member because we all have members.
Okay, is everybody ready? Have you decided? So now we're going to use these papers that are on your table that say paper passing brainstorm at the top. And this exercise is what I call random forced association, because we're going to force your brain to think in some different ways than it thinks normally. So at the top of your paper, I have taken the liberty of checking a box by each one of these categories. So you see your box is a sport and your box is a vehicle. All right, whatever you have check marked at the top of your paper, you're going to write in this blank a name for that thing. So let's say you have superhero, maybe you write Batman. Or if you have a holiday, you might write Christmas. So everybody do that for whatever is at the top of your paper. Okay, so now, this is where it gets really fun. What we're going to do is help each other brainstorm based on these different themes. So you've decided that you're going to be working on customer appreciation ideas, and they're going to be inspired by Batman or Christmas or whatever it is that are at the top of these different papers. So what you're going to do So you're gonna look at this and say, customer appreciation. Oh, I've got Batman. Well, let's see here. Batman, they always shine the light in the sky to let Batman know they need help, right? So what if we shined our customers' logos up in the sky or did some kind of big illumination thing as a way to do a shout out to our customers? I don't know, it's a silly idea, but you write it down. Then you take your piece of paper and you pass it to the person on your left. Now you have a new piece of paper in front of you, and it's got somebody else's ideas based on a color, and now you're going to look at that idea, and you're going to write something based on the color, and then you're going to pass it to the left. So you're going to be passing these papers around, and you're going to be building off of the things that people before you have written. I want you to go fast. Don't self-edit. Remember, self-editing kills the best ideas. So just write fast and pass it to your left. Write fast and pass it to your left. And we're going to make sure that these get around the table 3 or 4 times, and then we'll go to our next step. So ready? Go.
I did a couple.
Go fast. Go fast.
Appreciation ideas. Customer appreciation. Do we pass after as soon as we write? We pass.
Yeah, pass it on. Just keep going around. Yeah. So you're all trading papers. It's a little harder when you're not in a circle, but.
Yeah.
It's all about customer appreciation.
What, annual meeting's a holiday?
Yeah, I just went with it.
Okay.
I need help with that, so I thought I might as well.
That was an incomplete thought.
This table's on fire. Good job. Keep going.
Give us some candy, we need the sugar.
Stumped me on that.
Thank you. I'm gonna throw another one into the mix since we've done them all.
If you don't have one, just grab one that's languishing.
I don't know what's happening. The warm-ups didn't do me.
You're bad at this.
Yeah.
If we've done it, I think we should put it up there, like all 3 of us wrote on it. You've already done that one. Yeah, just start a new one, like that we haven't done, like one of the ideas.
That was lame.
You're not supposed to self-edit.
You're not supposed to say that. I've already said that. Okay, everybody, we're going to stop. Normally, I would like to have you get around the table like 3 or 4 times, but because I want to teach you one more exercise after this. So I want to stop now, and I want to talk about what the next steps in this exercise would be. So let's say you've gone around the table 4 or 5 times, and you know you're kind of starting to slow down, run out of ideas. Next, you would have each person read what's on his or her paper. Now, what I love about this is now nobody's standing there reading his or her own ideas. You're reading the wisdom of the group. So you don't have to feel weird about reading these things out because nobody knows whose they are. We just know they all came from your table. So it's a really good way, especially if you're not used to brainstorming with everybody that's at your table, to come up with ideas because you just read through them. So you read through them, and then you just put a little star by the ideas that sound like, oh, those have some merit. And usually, you know, when you're reading them aloud, the other people will go, oh, that sounds kind of neat, or there might be a laugh or something like that. So you go, okay, I'm going to star that because that might be something that we can work with. Then, after that, that's when you get to the point where you want to evaluate and figure out if you want to turn it into something better, or if it's really good as it is, or really if you need to kick it to the curb. And we'll talk about that more in the end. Okay, exercise number 2. I want you to have a chance to do this one because I think it's really, really good. I guess I should think it's really good, huh? Okay, so the next exercise, you've got set your assumptions on fire. This is the other piece of paper on your table. We know that when we assume things, it traps us into thinking a certain way. And then we don't even branch out from that. For instance, trash cans are for trash. That's an assumption. Trash cans are for trash. There is an artist in New York City who has been going around and taking trash cans and filling them with these beautiful floral arrangements. He's getting all kinds of publicity for these gorgeous floral arrangements that he's planted around the city in the trash cans. It's totally transformed what those are now, okay? Maybe you've had a party and you've lined a trash can with ice and then put a bunch of soft drinks in it. That's another use for a trash can. So, if we're just assuming trash cans are for trash, we're missing a lot of other opportunities. Annual reports must be annual. Do they have to be annual? Somebody we know has gone to doing them quarterly, and they're doing them by video instead of in a big old fat written book that nobody reads. Now they've got much better communication with their audience, and they're telling stories about what they're doing. Okay, here's another one. Campfires must be at camp. I don't know. You can have campfires somewhere else. I think you could sort of have a proverbial campfire in your office where you sat around and told stories about what you're doing, the great things you're doing for donors, the great things that you've done in your business, and how employees should be really proud of that and how they've contributed, and have s'mores. Okay, so now we're going to work on something just 2 by 2. So again, with a partner, I'd like for you to take a look at this paper and choose one of these assumptions, because we're working on appreciation ideas, right, for either employees or customers or donors. So here's one. Thank you events must be events. Employee events are just for employees, and you could change that. You could say donors are just for donors. Or appreciation efforts must show appreciation. Take one of those and just spend a few minutes talking with a partner on how you could break apart one of those assumptions and turn it into some other ideas that you could do for appreciation for your target group. Go.
Which one do you want? That sounds good. Oh, I like that. I like maybe like you go do office visits. If you go take it, you know, it's not an event, but you go to an office visit.
We're just brainstorming the one of that.
Could be a gift.
Yes. Gifts, cards.
Amen. Maybe it's just a letter, like a handwritten. Nobody writes handwritten letters anymore. And I keep those.
Look at you all writing down all these ideas. Good job.
Could be. How would I say thank you to somebody? Right. You could do like you could do like a member brag or like a donor brag, like on social media or something like that. We do like in our we do a newsletter article about our volunteers and our donors. We do like a volunteer spotlight and a donor spotlight, and we just talk about them. So like an article or.
Where's that paper?
could do random drawings for like big prizes.
For a charity.
You get a puppy. You get puppies. I think we did put
Okay,
gifts on
everybody,
there.
we need to stop. Normally more than 3 minutes it would be better to work on this exercise, but you get the idea, so you know how you could use this in your work. So I wanted to see, does anybody have any ideas that they would like to share in this short amount of time? Yes.
I think one of ours is employee events are for charities.
Okay. You want to say a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, it could be the employees run it, but it's for this cause or that cause, or it benefits X or Y or Z.
Okay, nice idea. Who else? Yes.
Addie events are for the Addies, an interactive social event, digital, hosted at several locations.
Ah, hosting at several locations, okay. Who else?
We did thank you events, must be events, but we said you could do a thank you video.
A thank you video instead of an event. That could be really fun and memorable and shareable in multiple places. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so I want to give you a few evaluation tips because we really didn't get a chance to share all the ideas that we worked on today. I would encourage you to go back and look at those and ask yourself, first off, don't fall in love with the first idea. Sometimes that's so easy to do. That first idea we come up with, we think, that's it. Often that's the most run-of-the-mill. You want to push yourself further. Then you need to ask yourself, is it strategic? What about those things that I put a little star by? Are they strategic? Do they fit my brand? Are they fulfilling the purpose of my organization? If not, then probably they aren't quite a fit for what you're trying to do. Can a fifth grader understand it? Now, a lot of you are communicators, so you already know how to communicate simple, clear, memorable messages. But sometimes if you're working with a mixed group, you have to help them remember that simple is good. Can you improve upon it? We don't want to shoot it down and say that'll never work or that's a terrible idea. Maybe there's something there, but can we make it even better? Sometimes you need to process on that for a few days or a week and see, are there some things that you can put on it that make it great? Where do I go from here? What's my budget? What's my timeline? Are those things feasible in the time that I have to do this? Can I afford to do it? If you can plot those things out, then you can know how you can move forward. And then you need to experiment and repeat. So we just have like 3 minutes for questions because I want to stay on time. Questions or thoughts or any observations that you would like to share?
I have one. How do we do the box? Like, how do we sign up for it and the cost and stuff like that?
Well, thank you very much for asking. Okay, transformationinabox.com. You can go there now. You can sign up. One box is $75 plus shipping, or if you subscribe for a full year, it's $300 and shipping is free. That's always priority shipping. Transformationinabox.com. Let's see here. I'll put it back up to the front. Aha! There we go. Okay, other questions, thoughts?
Do you find that your box is more popular for groups or for individuals?
Right now it's been mostly individuals, but we think that there's a lot of merit for like if you wanted to do a retreat and you could all do it together. You know, you could use the workbook as a group, but then you wouldn't get all the things that came with it. So since there's always something to eat or drink, since there's the playlist, of course you could share, but there are items in the box besides the workbooks. So typically, like if you wanted to do it as a department retreat, then you would want them for everybody.
Okay.
Other questions or thoughts?
All right, will you guys help me thank Martha? So we have a little gift for you on behalf of AAF Amarillo.
Thank you. And guys, the next meeting is September 12th. We're going to have local Maddie McLean. He's going to do a presentation called Booked Solid, how the internet has changed everything because our customers have all the information. And then on September 26th, we're